borderline blown away by what I've seen from the Fable reboot so far.
Blown away?
Fable developer
No way.
Playground Games
Let's see.
already had my trust. This is a studio that has produced nothing but one open world masterpiece after another, but after learning a lot more about what the team
Wait a second.
has in
What's the studio?
Trust, this is a studio that has produced nothing but one open world.
Give me a second. The game masterpiece, right? The game that the company that works on new Fable. Playground Games. Their games. They said masterpiece after masterpiece. Forza Horizon 2, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, Fable. Fable, Forza Horizon. Wait, let me hear it again. Did he actually say it? Maybe I misunderstood. My English is bad, you know that.
Let me start by saying that I am borderline blown away by what I've seen.
New Fable is going to have a
from the Fable
Mustangs. Let's go.
So far.
Let me actually show the chat.
New Fable developer Playground Games
Nissan
already
GTR.
had my trust. This is a studio that has produced nothing but one open world masterpiece after another, but after learning a lot more about what the team has in store...
I wonder if this guy is lying. Well, okay, maybe Forza Horizon is a masterpiece, but he said masterpiece after masterpiece after a masterpiece, but the only games that they produced... Again, I'm not criticizing the company, I'm criticizing what this guy is saying. Like, they only released Forza Horizon and nothing else.
I'm even more bullish about where they're going with it. Playground has turned the Forza Tech engine into a medieval British postcard. Combat is multi-layered, 1,000 NPC townsfolk are waiting to be romanced, co-parented with, divorced from, and landlorded over.
I mean, Forza is good, but Masterpiece, I don't know.
To be kicked.
Ah. Chicken Chaser.
Alongside Fable's big coming out party at the recent Xbox Developer Direct, I also spoke with game director Ralph Fulton.
Okay, I'm just gonna go back a little bit and just gonna say, this UI, it scares me. This UI, I've seen it only in very mid games that I ever played. Assassin's Creed, this UI. Dragon Age Inquisition, this UI. Dragon Age Veilguard, this UI. So, like, 4 skills, that's the best you can go for. So I'm a little bit worried right now. I'm a little worried.
Combat is multi-layered. 1,000 NPC townsfolk are waiting to be romanced, co-parented with, divorced from, and landlorded over. And there are chickens abound just waiting to be kicked.
By Ryan
Alongside
McCaffrey.
Fable's big coming out party at the recent Xbox Developer Direct, I also spoke with game director Ralph Fulton about the choices the studio has made with this revival, so there's lots to discuss. But first, if you'll permit me, a quick Fable history lesson.
Okay, enlighten me.
Right out of the gate in the early 2000s, Fable was always fantastic, even if its early days on the original Xbox got a little extra scrutiny because its director at the time, legendary strategy game developer Peter Molyneux, made crazy promises about players planting acorns that would grow into full-size trees over the course of the campaign.
He did made a lot of promises, but like, if you're gonna, you know, just throw away all the lies to the side, there were still a lot of little things in the game that actually were pretty cool.
But while that,
like, maybe he didn't deliver on, maybe he didn't deliver on, I don't know, like 60-70% of his promises, but besides those promises, the game had a lot of cool features. I would say.
Lofty systemic boast
Maybe
never
not
came
necessarily
to
cool,
be,
but
the
unique.
game that
Okay,
Lionhead
let's
delivered
go.
was
Let's choose these
nevertheless
words.
a
Unique.
rich, textured, uniquely British fairy tale that players could meaningfully affect change in. Whether their good deeds manifested a literal halo over their heads, their sheer evil caused actual horns to sprout from their skull, or they got married to a townsperson and lived a whole other life outside of the bigger picture quest within the world of Albion. Lionhead arguably perfected the formula in the Xbox 360 sequel, adding a dog who'd be by your side throughout the story, and Fable 3 tweaked it further still.
Bro, he said they perfected they perfected the game, made a sequel, they added a dog. That's like the only one example that he provided.
While making the questionable in hindsight decision to move the timeline forward by 500 years, thereby changing the entire
I don't know, I found it very
look and
funny.
feel of Albion.
I thought he's gonna give a
And
list of things,
Microsoft,
but he's
well,
like,
they
by
royally
adding a
screwed the
dog.
franchise up by trying to turn it into a 4v1 multiplayer game that cost the studio its entire existence. That's a story for another day. And since then, the franchise has
Fable
been
3
dormant
tweaked
for
it further
over
for
a
sure.
decade. Enter Playground, who
Maybe.
produced smash hit after smash hit in Microsoft's Forza Horizon driving series. Fulton told me that Playground was looking to expand and build a second team after Forza Horizon 3. Quote, I don't remember who said the word Fable first, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, that has to be it. That fits so perfectly. It's a series that we adored here and still do. And the conversation went from there, and it went pretty fast. I think everybody felt, certainly I know the folks we spoke to on the Xbox side felt really strongly that if a studio were to start working on Fable to pick that up, it had to be a British studio. And the fact that we had this great working relationship, the fact that we were making this game, Forza Horizon, that was increasingly important and successful, and had this ambition to scale and to grow, it went pretty fast after that.
Okay. Or I have a different theory. What also might be is that Xbox, okay, what kind of franchises we have that we need to revive to squeeze the money out of players? Fable. Do we have a British studio? Yes. Send it over. Well, I'm just exaggerating, but
adoration for the series shines through in the gameplay it's shown so far. There are hobs,
not exaggerating. I'm just making shit up.
Swords to wield and spells to cast, sure. And the humor and British charm look to be there. Look no further than a chicken spell wearing off, reverting the target back to their original form, but still flapping their arms and clucking. Or the chicken
That's pretty
armor.
cool.
You even start
I don't know
the
if I
game
trust
as a
this
child,
company.
just like you did in the original.
I never
But
played
where
that
Playground
games,
is
so
winning serious points with Fable fans like me so far is in its commitment to the game within the game.
what I learned from like history, like of playing games, like when like a franchise, like a big franchise beloved by a lot of people, is sent to like a different studio that not just not familiar or not connected to the franchise, maybe but worse, they never worked on these kind of games before. What the history taught me that usually it doesn't go well. Usually I have like examples, for example, but I have the recent Vampires the Masquerade sequel that was given to the company that never worked on this big ambitious games that everyone like a lot of people wanted. There is a big audience there, and they, instead of making an RPG game that people were asking for years, they made basically what's it called, immersive sim in a way. Instead of making like an RPG, it's more of like immersive sim action, and it didn't turn out to be great. Yeah. And maybe what's some other example? Or Mass Effect series, right? When they send Mass Effect series to, after finishing the third one, they said, okay, let's give it to the studio within the company that never worked on such a big, ambitious, like big franchises before. Let's just give it to another studio to make it, and we all know what happened after that.
the town management aspects baked into Fable's urban areas. You'll be able to buy property, literally all of it if you can come up with enough gold apparently, and become a beloved landlord or a loathed slumlord. Not to mention a kind boss or a horrible boss.
I'm not gonna lie, like some people gonna say, oh, it's another Unreal game. It's probably made in Unreal, right? I would assume. New Fable made in Unreal. The Fable is upcoming extra role-playing developed by Background aiming to reboot the mechanics. The game is fictional Albion. Well, they featured to life for there is also a fan-made remake using Unreal Engine, which is they're using their own engine. Okay. I was thinking it was Unreal, but at the same time, okay, I was mistaken. But I actually wanted to say a compliment. I just want to say, like, if it was Unreal, I would say, okay, this fits the Unreal Engine perfectly. Like the shiny kind of textures, very crisp, very like bright colors. With Unreal, it would fit perfectly. Because like Fable always was this kind of, again, like a bright adventure, like kind of in this sort of PG-13 world, fantasy world. In this like tale, but they have their own engine and it actually looks pretty good. I like it.
You can also
it fits the world too.
All of them, have kids with them, and should it come to it, get divorced. There are also jobs.
Okay, the big question is, if I'm gonna be like playing a male husband, do I have to pay child support?
Take in like blacksmithing.
If no, if I can refuse, 10 out of 10.
One is in the morality. No longer will it be so black or white, Fulton told me. You won't manifest that halo or sprout those horns. Instead, individual people in each city or town will form their own opinion of you based on how you treat them. Meaning you could be a rich twat, in Fable's own words, while getting hailed as a saint in another one. Better still, one of my least favorite aspects of modern role-playing games, procedurally generated content and all of the generic time-filling tedium it brings with it, is nowhere to be found in Fable. Instead, Fulton told me that every NPC is a unique, handmade, and fully voiced character.
They always say that, man. They always say it. Oh man, if they added a child support's gameplay is going to consist of working 3 jobs, right? Okay, I gotta slay 3 monsters today because I have 3 kids and I gotta pay like 10,000 gold for each.
So refreshing these days that it gets me extra excited to talk to as many of them as I possibly can.
Why so refreshing? What about Baldur's Gate 3?
Once I get a build of Fable in my hands.
But people still acting that we don't get like good RPG games. Like people forget, oh no, there's a lot of good RPG games, but you're just playing shitty ones.
That goal to make
play Kingdom Come, play Baldur's Gate 3. There's so many games.
The larger world of Albion too. Remember the 2023 Fable teaser that introduced us to Dave, a giant? It turns out that the whole setup for the new Fable isn't a Jack and the Beanstalk story. Instead, Dave is, quote, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who finds a magic growth formula. So you'll then have to decide how to deal with him. Will you spare him, hopefully this means finding a way to return him to normal size and befriending him, or slay him, which will see his giga corpse splayed over a hill just outside of town for the rest of your campaign, negatively impacting surrounding home prices in the process.
Oh my god, this is good. This is good. Okay, okay, the main character needs to Glock and shoot a couple bullets in the air to get the prices even more down and buy the houses. Oh my god, I love it.
And so
if they're really gonna affect it like this,
Dave's foray into gigantism is merely a quest, perhaps that means
that's great. That's great.
As much of a departure from the originals lore-wise as that video had led me to believe. In fact, I point-blank asked Fulton whether or not this is a true reboot or if this Fable is in some way connected to Lionhead's originals.
That's a good
he
question.
had quite a telling answer for a supposed non-answer. He told me, quote, "I'm going to avoid that question, Ryan, and I'll tell you why. We touch very lightly on story in the Dev Direct piece, but honestly, what we really wanted to do is come out and speak to the detail in the game and answer all those questions that people inevitably have about the game we haven't answered before."
Wait, wait a second, sorry.
All those
I'm going to avoid that question, Ryan. I will tell you why. We touch very lightly on story in the Dev Direct piece. But honestly, what we really wanted to do is to come out and speak to the detail in the game and answer all those questions that people inevitably have about the game we haven't answered before. What? I'm going to avoid that question. Touch very lightly on the story. Honestly, what we really wanted to do is to come out and speak on detail in the game and answer all those questions that people inevitably have about it we haven't answered. Okay.
questions that people inevitably have about the game we haven't answered before. We're going to talk more about story later in the year.
Ah, okay. I needed this one. That one, that piece of information was not useful, but okay.
So I'm not going to
We're going to
say yes or no to that particular question just yet. What I would say is, with this being a reboot, it felt really imperative for us to clear the space to tell a story that we want to tell within Albion, which is why this isn't a sequel, for example. This isn't necessarily connected to the original timeline or events or characters, but we do share lore, and some of that originating lore of the Fable universe is really important to our story.
Isn't really necessarily connected to the original timeline or events or characters, but we share lore. Okay, so it's a reboot basically. It's not connected to the main story of the first 3 games, or characters, or again timeline. It could be like a different dimension, but they take pieces, some things from the original that would nicely fit in this game. I see. I'm gonna turn every neighborhood into a bad neighborhood.
Make of that what you will.
I got it.
So Fable seems to have the look, the
Dev
humor, the moral choices, the quintessentially British charm.
That's what I
Playground,
want.
To put it simply, seems to understand the assignment here. And the studio, as I mentioned earlier, absolutely gets the benefit of the doubt from me on account of its impeccable track record since its inception. What then am I worried about? There is one thing, and it's a key part of Fable: combat. To be clear, I'm not in any way judging Fable.
That's what I said. Well, kinda. I was referring to UI, but but that was like all connected. Like usually when I see this kind of UI, I assume that combat is gonna be as simple as it can get. Like the Assassin's Creed has this kind of combat, the recent games, which is just press like 3-4 buttons to do different abilities. You just dodge and you just block, and that's how it goes. The same thing with the Dragon Age Veilguard or Dragon Age Inquisition, where you have 4, maybe maximum 8 skills that you can play, but it's just basically Doom choosing skills without even thinking, without even strategizing anything. You're just like, oh, I have this skill I can throw, and you just press triangle all the time and just wait for a cooldown to go down to use it again without even thinking much. Just like, oh, I have the skill, I'm just pressing, and all you have to really do is just dodge at the best and attack a couple times, and that's it. Like what I see, like from the footage so far, like this and before when they show this UI, that it seems it's gonna be very simple, which is worries me a lot.
Fable's combat based on what we've seen so far. How could I? I haven't played it for myself yet. However, for as talented as Playground is, it's never made a game with combat before. It's not that all of the delightful town management and NPC relationship stuff suddenly means nothing if the combat doesn't deliver, but Fable will have a big problem if battling Balverines isn't a blast. Oh, and I suppose I'll be honest and share one actual disappointment with what I've seen of Fable so far.
Just
the
one?
fact that horses seem to be your only 4-legged companions.
The only one. The smallest freaking problem. Oh,
After the
only I expected something bigger, bro. There's nothing else but horses.
big reveal
Man, everyone really needs a good
was
game.
decidedly dog-free, I asked Fulton about the decision to ditch the dog, and he admitted, quote, "There are some folks on the team that were relishing me getting this question because I cut it a while back. You know what? For development reasons, right? I don't need to go into any more detail than that, except to say there are a substantial number of people on the team who have yet to forgive me for that decision." Now, I know full well that game development is extremely difficult and that Fulton probably has a very defensible reason for not moving forward with Fable 2's signature feature. It stung a little extra when he told me that Fable 2 was his favorite of Lionhead's original trilogy, but as a player, I'm still allowed to be bummed out by it. Here's hoping it's first on the new features.
Okay, you know what? I never had a blast battling Belverines. My last concern, there's only horses. We're really stuck to the sea. Bugatti's make an appearance in this franchise really disappointed this guy.
Sequel, should we get that far?
Well, I don't share like this kind of like I would say like disappointment. Like, oh, I played Fable 3. I finished it back in the day. I like the game and everything. I know in Fable 3 there's a dog and everything, but like even me being sort of like a fan of the franchise, again, I didn't play the sequel one because it's really a headache to get it, but I would play it if I had a chance. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It's like, you know, I'm waiting for Mass Effect, right? I'm waiting for the next Mass Effect. I'm gonna say, well, I wish in Mass Effect 5 they would have 3 companions or something like that. Well, actually, it's a big deal. I know. Okay, the dog thing, maybe not. I'm trying to choose something better. Oh, driving a vehicle, right? Nah. Nobody liked the vehicle. What I'm trying to say, it's not a big deal. You know, you don't have a dog, like, it's kind of like, well, it was cool back in the day. I wish I had it now. But, you know, like he said, the dev, he might have his reasons not to do it. And and you should not be like taking a point off the game, like, oh, instead of being like 10 out of 10, it's like 9 out of 10 because they didn't have a dog. Just one mechanic. Every game gives you a dog nowadays. I'm tired of getting a dog, honestly. A dog, honestly. Good on the new Fable for not having it. I'm not saying like it's a good or a bad thing. It's probably was just like a choice that they had to make. If they had a dog as a companion, I see it as a plus. But it's not that significant change to worry about, I would say.
The whole, though, I am truly, genuinely excited and optimistic about
of course,
the new Fable.
You got paid to make this video.
Felt that,
I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe.
Hands, Fable has the highest ceiling in terms of game quality and finally delivering Xbox and I guess PlayStation, as it turns out, a PlayStation Studios-like Game of the Year award contending single-player game of anything currently in Microsoft's massive first-party games portfolio. And though we don't yet have a specific release date to count down to, Playground is promising that we'll be playing it this fall, which basically means before November, since it would be patently stupid to try and relaunch this franchise after the better part of a decade in development, right up against the incoming game industry meteor known as Grand Theft Auto 6.
No, Fable is gonna win.
Hoping that the new Fable lives up to its sky-high potential. For more on Fable, don't miss our live podcast unlocked reactions to the recent Xbox Developer Direct, as well as that 2023 teaser starring Giant Dave. And for everything else in the world of video games, keep it locked right here to IGN.
Okay. Man, I know the world is going to look really good, but everything else, come on, Forza Studio, you better nail it. Yeah, I mean, we shall see. I never, like, again, I never have expectations anymore for new games. Usually, like, I'm trying to avoid it because expectations lead to disappointments. um so, but I'm still trying to stay hopeful, and let's see what's gonna happen. Yes, this company never worked on a big RPG scale game, and they given this franchise that beloved by a lot of people. So they shouldn't, like, they have this like a huge stress baggage on their backs that they have to carry throughout this entire, like, this many years. um from what I've seen so far, in terms of like graphics, like the design of the world and everything, like you said, I agree. It looks, I think it's gonna be pretty good looking game, and it fits the way the like not the game design, like the artistic design they decided to, the art design they decided to go with. It fits the Fable world. Fable was always this bright, very colorful, with crisp colors, trying to resemble this, like, kind of create this like a sense of, oh, you are in a big tale, you actually like in the tale. And I think they nailed it by the look of it, by the video. The details, I'm glad that he mentioned that. So what made Fable pretty cool, like the first one and the third one, that they had details, like these little things there and there. They're just kind of surprising and very cool to discover. Some mechanics to do there and there. So it seems like they also kind of, they know that is important, so that might be covered. What I'm really concerned about is actual gameplay. Like what I've seen so far, it looks pretty simple, straightforward, and I don't want to use this word, but I'm gonna use it, generic looking gameplay. So, but we shall see. Maybe there is a lot of gameplay, small gameplay mechanics there and there, small details there and there. They're gonna make the gameplay more, I don't know, stand out. Again, comparing to like Dragon Age Veilguard or Assassin's Creed games, like the recent ones, maybe like there's gonna be so, I don't even know, but like he mentioned one of the examples, you can turn an enemy to chicken. Maybe you can play with the chicken after, you can use the chicken. Maybe it's gonna be like an immersive sim when you can play around with enemies. We shall see more, but so far the gameplay is the only concern. It seems too simple. It seems a little bit too simple.